And we're live. Here we are.
Yay!
It is the check-in. Mine is Claudio, though.
Minus Claudio today. Yes.
All right. So there's our nice little poster. It's AJ Young, Mike Gamache, myself, possibly an animal or two.
Well, there's
again,
Poe.
At least in the background.
at
Yeah.
least in the background. And that wasn't a veiled reference to maybe Claudio joining us later. Hey, Poe liked that joke. I know he
Yes.
couldn't hear it, but it's a. So yeah, for anyone who's tuning in, thank you. It's just basically we've got three friends who are going to be just chatting with each other and saying hello, and making sure that everybody is okay during this time. If you want to join us, then feel free to chat.
Yes. By all means.
Hi. All right. I posted this story mainly because I found it kind of inspiring. What is it called? There was a comedy show in a bomb shelter in Sumy, Ukraine,
Yes, it was in Ukraine.
and they had 100 people attending. And I mean, considering that the current president of Ukraine is ex stand-up comic,
Right.
it's kind of cool. I just
Yes.
realized that I'm on an angle. But and it was just the idea of bomb shelter comedy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm almost
That's-
tempted
that's-
to.
Yeah, that's really gallows humor for you.
Well, no, not just that, but the bombing in context with
Yes.
stand-up comedy. is-
Yeah, it's a straight line, right?
Right.
From comedy to bombs. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's almost inspired me to want to produce an open mic again, but do I want to do all that work?
Yeah, that is a lot of work, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the ones that you had hosted in the past, especially the Kick-Ass show. That was outstanding. I loved playing that show. It was very well put together. You always had top guys, top-notch people on, and I enjoyed it thoroughly every time I was on.
Thank you. I think what I need to do is start going out hitting other mics so I can concentrate on just doing the comedy myself rather than thinking about the show in its entirety.
You just hosted at the Nest, though, didn't you?
No, I'm hosting at the Nest tomorrow night.
Tomorrow. Okay. All right. I thought I saw your picture on the Nest's posts,
Yeah.
and I thought it was last week. But
And
tomorrow.
my good buddy, the Love Doctor, has been hosting at the Wiggle Room for.
Yes, of
we've had
course.
3 shows. The last one, we weren't sold out when we opened the doors, but I think we were sold out by the time the show started. So
Excellent.
that was it's also I got a props to the Wiggle Room, though there's no legal requirement for them to be keeping up the COVID protocols.
Yes,
They've kept up the plexiglass dividers. They can't legally ask people to show their vaccine passports coming in, but a lot of the other protocols, such as we ask people to keep their mask on. We just a polite ask people to keep
Yes.
their mask on if they stand up. And
Yes, and I think just as people have the liberty to, since the mask mandate supposedly is coming down, just as people have the liberty to take the mask off, people who are not don't feel secure or have like relatives or people in their sphere that are immunocompromised, let's say, or elderly and vulnerable. I think people who choose to continue to wear the mask should not be taken, to task and shouldn't be singled out and say, what's wrong with you? Why are you still wearing the mask? I think I will continue probably wear the mask because of my mother-in-law. And if anybody accosts me and says, why are you still wearing the mask? I'll say, well, because I have people I care for that are vulnerable and I'm taking care of them and I need to protect myself and them. And if it bothers you, I cordially invite you to please fuck off.
Okay, I go ahead, AJ.
I've always thought it was funny years before COVID that other cultures and countries just wear masks when they're sick. Like I've
Yeah.
always respected that. The only reason I've never done it in this society is because it's it's really weird to single yourself out in Western society. So like I've never worn a mask, but now that it's like fine to wear masks, I can embrace how much I think people are gross and just wear a mask all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was actually a law in Quebec about covering your face.
Yeah. Let's see how that
was more targeted towards a people of a certain religion or religious groups. And which was so ironic, because in winter in Quebec, people wrap scarves around their faces easily.
Yes. Or wear outright ski masks, just like, two eye holes and a mouth hole, and that's it.
I have been, I'm sort of been back to work, and I've been outside a good deal. And I would have to say the majority of people are still wearing masks. I have not seen any aggression towards mask wearers. I think the idea that you're sort of prepping in your mind how to react to somebody who's against you is building up an anxiety and a fear in you.
Yeah, I agree.
Need to have.
I agree, but you never know. There's always going to be the odd asshole who's going to, get in your face. And I'm just like, if he gets in my face, I'm just going to tell him, just like, buddy, just fuck off. It's your choice not to wear the mask. My choice to wear the mask. Please fuck off.
They're the same assholes who would have been getting in your face for something else anyway.
Of course.
It's not any different than any other day, other than the fact that there is maybe like a danger to it. But as long as you're taking care of yourself, yeah.
I don't necessarily hope for it, but if anybody brings up me wearing my mask, I'm not even going to make a complaint about the mask, the disease, say anything like that. I'm just going to get completely like esoteric and just be like, my guy, our lives on two different paths 30 seconds ago, and now we're entangled. Yeah. Why did you engage with me? Why are we talking now? What is happening?
Yeah.
Why are we doing this? Just completely forget about the mask. Just ask him, why have you engaged with me? What is the purpose? What is happening? Just completely, just not even focus on the mask debate. Just go into like, why even talk to a stranger, bro? Why bother?
Yeah.
What are you doing right now? Who are you? Who am I? What's happening? And then just leave.
Are there not more important questions in the world?
Just straight up hit him with something else. Just be like, bro, why this? Why now? Why today? Why?
Yeah. And I think it's Ben Cardilli does a joke about overhearing somebody asking, you're outside, why are you wearing the mask? And the person responding with, no, it's not a mask. It's your mother's panties. So.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Classic.
Anyone do anything interesting this week?
Let's see.
I helped a friend's family move to New Brunswick.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Did you took the long trip and everything? Like, what part of New Brunswick?
I have a map of the locale somewhere. It was like East St. John's or something.
Okay.
I barely know where I am in Montreal.
Understood. All right. So yeah, St. John's would be like several hours into St. John. Sorry, St. John's.
St. John. Yeah. We could.
You would have had to pass Fredericton and.
Yeah, we were. We went to go visit one of her friends. That was like a 20-minute drive from like the suburbs into like the small city that we were at, and we could see. I think it's the Bay of Fundy, like Nova Scotia. We could see it from like their balcony. So like, close to Nova Scotia, I guess.
So that would be almost Moncton, which is
actually, we saw a bunch of signs, so like close to that area. It was like a 10 or 11 hour drive to get there the first time.
That's like the second last exit before getting into Nova Scotia. So around that, yeah. So, that's did you like it? Is it your first time out there?
I've been to Halifax, and I've driven through random places in Canada. I've been to Vancouver, but that was my first time like going and staying anywhere in New Brunswick. And it was pretty fun. It was all like
Roller
hills
coaster
and
roads?
mountains. Yeah, the entire city was just like a mountain here, then you go down and then back into another hill and then another hill, then another hill, and
No, that's not Moncton then. Okay. Well, I'll try to think of. Yeah, because Moncton is fairly flat. Well, it's flat to me because I grew up out there, and when I married a woman raised in Quebec, and when we went out there, she described all the roads as being a roller coaster. And I'm going, well, it's just hills.
Yeah.
like I may have said mountains, but it's mostly like just hills. Like even Costco is like their Costco is up on its own hill in the center of like the city.
Yeah.
It was very, very interesting design.
Yeah. Let's worship
but-
commercialism.
Yeah.
The temple of Costco.
I find the people of New Brunswick are fabulous people. Most people from the east, like Nova Scotia, PEI, Newfoundland, New Brunswick, they're just wonderful, wonderful people. And the people of New Brunswick, I have a particular affinity for. Even though I was born in Nova Scotia, I have affinity for it because we went visiting there once, my wife and I.
So when you were saying people from Nova Scotia are delightful and wonderful, you were talking about yourself.
No. I lived in Nova Scotia for all of about 18 months, from birth to 18 months. So that I was born there, but I cannot take any. I can no longer claim, no more claim of being a Nova Scotian than I can of being an Ontarian because I lived there for 5 years, or of being it's just I can't. I was in the armed forces and I moved all over the place, and I can't claim to be from one spot.
If there was an 18-month-old in the armed forces, that was
I was the 18-month-old.
Yes, I know that. So your dad was the one that was in the armed forces.
Yes. My dad was in the Navy at the time.
Yeah. You might have to check your birth certificate. I don't know if you know this. Are you a Grace baby?
A Grace baby. I don't know what that refers to.
The Grace Maternity Hospital was the big maternity hospital in Halifax.
I was not born in Halifax.
Oh,
I was born in Annapolis Royal on the Bay of Fundy.
Okay. All right.
Because my father was based out of Digby, Nova Scotia. The port that he was based out of on the ship that he was on was Digby.
Okay.
So you're just a real Canadian, just from Canada, wherever Canada.
Yeah.
Well, Navy, you only got to get. There's only really two locations that you'll be posted, which is, BC or Nova Scotia.
Yeah, you have to have an ocean to be on a boat.
Yeah.
Although my father was attached to a ship once that was based out of Quebec City. So there was at one time a cruiser, I think, a light cruiser that was based in Quebec City, and he was attached to that ship for maybe 6 months.
Okay, I was going to ask if it was a ferry.
Was it a tribal class? Do you know the name or?
Well, it was in the 50s, so I have no idea what the class of ship was.
Okay.
And I was very, very young. Oh.
Yeah.
Didn't have all the deets.
my dad was on duty when I was born.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It stopped me if I've told this story before. But he was on duty, so my mom went into the Grace Maternity Hospital to have me. Okay. And when my dad got off duty, he drove in, and feeling very well, driving his Volkswagen Beetle. And they were living in Chester. He was stationed at Mill Cove at that time, where there's no longer a base. It used to be a radio listening thing. So he picked up a hitchhiker, and the hitchhiker pulled a knife on him.
Ooh.
And had him drive slightly off the highway, and my dad talked him out of killing him and taking the car. And then then my dad. So the day I was born, I almost
you almost lost your father.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That's wow.
I'm glad he's got the I'm glad he's got the gift of gab apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad was very gregarious. He was everybody's kind of friend. He was also like a community builder. He's yeah. It's
I'm sure he pulled the I'm going to the hospital. My wife just had a baby, buddy. This you've picked on the wrong guy here.
Well, the thing is, it was a teenager who came from an abusive family, and I think he later got arrested in Moncton. I think my dad gave him some money, and dropped him off at the bus depot. So, and then the guy got in trouble in Moncton. I think he stabbed someone there.
Ah, lovely.
Yeah.
So I guess some deep psychological problems.
Yeah. But it's my dad came close to dying a bunch of times. I don't like yeah. Go ahead, AJ.
It's the old world where just like people would be stabbing each other for cars and stuff.
That's Grand Theft Auto. Is that the old world?
Hey man, Grand Theft Auto was based on something.
Yeah.
I have no context for it though.
Yeah. Well, it's based on 70s movies back when New York was bankrupt.
Yeah.
And what was it? The cops were not being paid. Was it?
Something like that.
And there was no maintenance being done to the subways.
No.
And the city was filthy, dirt, garbage everywhere. There was a strike, I think, at one point for 3 or 4 months.
When I think of like 80s New York, I just think of the Warriors.
Yeah.
I'm just gangs running the place, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember Stevie? Oh shoot, what's his name? He lived here, but he was from New York. I watched the Warriors with him.
Yeah.
And he was going, what is it? That's a gang, or they're wearing vests? Why are they wearing vests? Like that way people know they're all in the same gang. What is this? What, only one guy has a gun?
Yeah, I know who you're referring to. Yep. Steven Spinelli, not Spinelli.
Spinelli.
Not Spinelli. No. It's
Spicoli?
Steven. No.
It was McCreepy Fingers. He would occasionally call himself.
Yeah.
Good name.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah. So he was. We made him watch the Warriors, and it was like he thought the gangs all looked like like ballet performers.
I don't disagree.
He was the guy who, for some reason, got tarred with. He was supposedly he had provided some content to a podcast of some sort, and somebody credited him or said he was working for that podcast, and then started wanting to cancel him. Spinola, I think, Steven Spinola.
Okay,
is that his name?
I can't remember.
But he had a thing where they misattributed. He was never employed by this podcaster or this website, but he was tarred as being an employee of that website, and as such they sued him or something. It was some fucking ridiculous, like it was extrapolated to the nth degree.
God damn.
And he was caught up in it, and for the longest time he couldn't fucking get a gig.
That sucks.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know that he moved back to New York and was performing, but
yeah.
That's what I'm afraid of when I associate with this podcast.
That you'll be tarred with our epithet.
The cancelings are coming.
Yes, I know. I know. We're so objectionable. We're so outrageous.
With all the hot takes.
Yeah, we gotta stir up some conflict. That'll get us clicks. Maybe we should all, since he's not here, maybe we should just all pile on Claudio.
Oh, perfect. And nobody deserves it more.
Yes. He's such a chubby, wubby little guy.
You know how much he's got to really.
Oh yeah, he's
dislike
gonna love
being-
this.
Yeah, compared to like a semi-boner show. There is. Sorry. All right.
That took a different tangent than I was expecting. Okay.
But his birthday roast is coming up apparently.
Yes, it is, and
Yeah.
I think it's this Saturday. I think, isn't it? He's got a show. Because Kyle posted something the other day, and
Yeah, 24th though. Isn't that a Thursday, or is it on the Saturday? Is it the 26th?
I think the show. I think the show at the Ward Williams is on the 26th.
Yeah, Poe. You tell him.
Yeah.
Poe's doing his own roast.
Yep.
Oh, stop roasting.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'm working this evening, and it's probably going to be a late night, so I slept in today.
Mm-hmm.
And I like waking up and laughing.
Oh, there he is,
Uh,
the lovely Poe. Oh, such a sweet boy.
Poe.
Look at that! Look at that! Look at that fur!
All
Oh,
right,
look,
there it
and
is.
kisses! Oh, my
Thanks,
God.
buddy.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Yeah. He licks where his balls used to be with that same tongue. It's
Yeah. It's a reality.
He looks like
Yeah.
a pretty laid back dude.
Minus the anytime he hears a noise coming from the hallway, yeah, he's
Oh.
pretty chill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the guard boy. That's the I'm on duty. Can't
Yeah.
get by me.
Oh, it's a coming. I can feel it in his chest. You gonna bark again? Oh, okay. Thank
right
you for
into the
holding
microphone.
back.
This could be loud.
Yes.
Oh, okay. No, that was too close to the mic.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we
that's-
go.
Thanks for not doing that directly into the mic, but
Yeah. You've had your say now, Paul.
Oh, stop. Stop responding.
Okay. Now you've lost control of him.
Oh, yeah, he's fine.
So I can tell I had a good paychecks approximately 6 months ago.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, or might be like a year, because I'm getting a bunch of stuff I backed on Kickstarter has been coming in these past couple of weeks. So I have a bunch of like unboxing videos that I should be doing.
Nice.
Yeah, it's sort of silly, but it's yeah. Why did I spend my money on that? But they're fun. I like board games. Getting to play board games again with people is nice.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah. Playing board games by yourself, it kind of sucks.
though the number of the ones I got do have solo variants, so
Ah.
you can play alone.
I have like deck builders, cooperative games, and then like it's just Jenny and I hanging out. So like we've played them, but like it's not fun just the same two people. Especially the co-op games, it's like it's just gonna shake out the same way.
Yeah. I have a deck builder game, which is the one that my roommates most want to play because it is probably the one with the greatest replayability.
Okay.
And there's been a lot of expansions to it. It's like the third version of the game. Like they came out with a game called Thunderstone, then Thunderstone Advanced, and now it's Thunderstone Quest. And I can't think of a game that is like has more replayability with it. I mean, you can play it cooperative, you could play it competitive, and it's also it's a well, okay. When we talk deck builders, Dominion is kind of the main one. It has probably as many different stacks of cards like as Dominion does. But the idea is there's a village and then there is the dungeon. And so you can either go to the village or you could go to the dungeon, or if you have a way to travel between the two, you can do both in one turn. But there's only limited amount of cards in the village. in there, and the monsters are coming. Yeah, it's there's so much replayability on it. The only thing is it's massive.
Yeah, I imagine to get that much replayability out of a deck builder, you have to have a lot to do.
Like there's a box like about that tall and that wide. You'd like, almost square dimensions. I've got 3 of those boxes.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of material.
And that's and it's mainly all cards.
God damn.
Of course, I'm going to be doing deck building of a different kind sometime in the near future. I'm actually going to be building a deck in my backyard.
How a deck?
But we're actually in the process of looking at because snow is melting. We had started stuff last year. We did the fence and all that stuff. But now it's like we are having some things installed. We're having a deck built around that thing. We're going to have landscaping and some
pool.
Hey, it's not a pool. It's a hot tub.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, for your swingers club. I get it.
Pardon me?
For your swingers club.
Yes, my swingers club. Yes, because that's just what you need. Every swingers club needs a hot tub. Yeah. So, but we're going to have some bids. We're going to be contacting a few deck people here in the West Island. There's one guy, the guy who did the fence last year, showed interest in building our deck, but he's not. It's not his primary specialty. So we're sort of reluctant. We'd like to maybe go with somebody who really just builds decks more than this guy. This guy did a great fence for us, but it's not quite the same thing as building a structure that's going to hold.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. So really think about materials.
Yes. That's another thing too, is that we probably will be a wood deck, but there's a particular. My wife has researched. My wife's the scientist. Researches every goddamn thing we can. We look at. She will go in there and do deep dives into it, and but she's found a place in Point Claire that has this type of lumber for, especially just for the deck surfaces, that she said they maintain. I mean, I don't know how much credence to put in this, but these people claim that their wood will last like 25, 30 years. And in 25 or 30 years' time, I don't think we're going to necessarily be the ones who resurface the deck, if you know what I mean. So
cedar and teak are two types of wood that won't. But because of the wicking, you might want to look at like cement pylons.
Yes. No. Definitely. We're starting from scratch. So we have an open area, and we're just going to be it's going to be poured cement footings, big huge pylons, and this is going to be an overbuilt deck. This deck will be around for years and years and years. So when it comes to the surface of it, we're going to want something that's going to last for a long time. With obviously with some maintenance, but with the product itself will persevere beyond what if there's any type of issue, they will cover it. So
I've only built like 2 decks in my life, so
I've never built a deck, so but I've seen a bunch of them, and I know what I like, and I know what I'm looking for. It's not super complicated, but I want it to be like I said, bulletproof, solid bulletproof. And we're going to be throwing, like we have this hot tub, and we're probably going to be throwing a gazebo on top of it. So it's
privacy for the swingers club. Yeah.
It's always
you're on top of everything, aren't you? You've got it all figured out.
I am. I'm firing away. Just being back at the Wiggle Room.
It fires up the juices, doesn't it?
Yeah. It definitely is, and it's the crowd's so amazing. I only mentioned somebody's mother once in the past 3 shows, though. So
Nice. It's a low bar.
yeah, yeah. So that was yeah. The crowd reacted pretty much on my side. You know, it's you don't hit a heckler with your mother right away.
Right.
You
Gotta
let
work
them
into
string
it.
along for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got I'm doing Andrew Cardazzi's Nerd Out at the end of the month and Battlecom, and that's I think
Aren't they the
that's
same
gonna
day?
be like no, it's 28th and 31st.
Okay. All right.
And yeah, it's gonna be those are gonna be the days that I'm trying to shake the rust off from not having done anything in a little while.
Right.
But then hopefully, keep the momentum going, sign up for a whole bunch of other shows and see what I can do.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's at the Meltdown is where the Nerd Out is. I did it. I did the last one. It was maybe a little underattended, but it was still a good show. I was not at my best, but I probably did about 60% all new material.
Yeah.
So if I stuck to stuff I knew better, then maybe I would have.
Yeah.
It's I just all I know is that my opening joke is that I'm excited to do a Nerd Out show, especially this past week when I've been nerding about nuclear war and geopolitics.
Yeah.
and then I'll do a bunch of jokes about anime and stuff. I'm gonna give them a quick second of like fear that I'm gonna nerd out about Ukrainian war and Russia and geopolitics. Then I'll hard left turn into actually doing nerd stuff because I do have a lot of like political jokes and geopolitics jokes I want to start doing. But I don't necessarily want to dish them out on like a nerd out crowd like this.
No, that's exactly.
that audience would.
They reacted very well to the Ukraine material the night that I was there. So
okay, so we'll see how they go once I start it up.
Yeah.
But it's I have seen comedians do a hard left turn on the theme for the night, and I do think there's merit in doing it. It's just I don't necessarily know if I'm not rusty enough to try and pull that on myself and an audience at this point. Especially because all my political jokes are completely untested. I've written them all in quarantine.
Now, there's a Canadian comic who got sort of a big break. He's living in the UK now by the name of Craig Campbell. And he got his big break because a comedian had to take a left turn. It was, I'm trying to think of what it was called. It was something Mountain Madness. And it was filmed in Banff. But it was primarily all American comics that were brought up. Dennis Miller was like the big name on it.
Ooh,
so
yeah.
This is how long ago it was. Whoopi Goldberg was on it.
Right.
All these comics. Now, the thing is, they're filming it in Banff
Right.
during ski season.
Yeah. Okay.
Not going to get a lot of crowds.
Well, no, it's they packed it, right? It was like this is a TV production.
Right. Oh, okay.
But,
so yeah.
But I think it was HBO or so. Yeah. And Dennis Miller is headlining. And he's actually not very much in the show because he went up there and he was doing a couple politics jokes and like to a bunch of 20-year-olds in the 80s,
right?
Who were probably from Canada, who were not Americans, and he's referencing all these American politicians,
right?
So in minutia, as Dennis Miller does, and then he goes, "Oh, all right, I guess it's time for the shit jokes," and he just did nothing but material on defecation for his half-hour set.
Wow.
Which apparently was still funny, but that's
called know your audiences, right?
Yeah, but the warm-up act was this Canadian Craig Campbell.
Yeah.
He was young, he was good-looking, and it was his regular crowd. Right? He was from Alberta.
Right.
And
so,
he just
destroyed.
He just destroyed. And so, he's on there. He put out a CD with Yuck Yucks, or Yuck Yucks put out a CD of him way back when they I think did they do 6? They did 6 CDs. The Yuck Yucks label did 6 CDs back in the day. There was Derek Edwards, Jay Sankey, Glenn Foster, Craig Campbell,
I think I
Jed
know.
Fink.
I think Glenn Foster sounds familiar. I think I've seen
He's
something
currently
of theirs.
he's well. Glenn is known as that Canadian guy. He's currently living in Ottawa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's it was a time, back when 80s comedy, everything was sort of exploding.
Yeah.
But the story of how like Craig Campbell went from being the warm-up act to being, paid and featured on this TV special. Like, he was being paid as a warm-up act, but now, it's good for him.
Yeah, I guess if Dennis Miller had to revert to defecation jokes, that probably didn't fly on HBO. They probably cut a lot of that shit out. Literally.
Literally.
It's funny because his political jokes would be put in the HBO, but they don't get audience reaction, and then they can't put the shit jokes in because they're too classy, but they're the audience reaction. So you have to put his political jokes and then edit in the laughter from his shit jokes, and then HBO is just it's a nightmare.
Too much sweetening. It doesn't match. And on top of that, though, HBO was sort of like the softcore channel back at the time too, wasn't it? Was it
kind
Star?
of.
I can't remember.
And that was before they all were owned by one company.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah.
Because now you're like, oh, Star, HBO is all under Bell or something. Like it's all under one company
in Canada. Yeah.
Oh,
surprise! Monopoly. Okay. What else do you guys want to... Yes.
I did want to tell you something.
Yes.
You're probably not going to be too happy about the delivery system, but you, Paul, told me to try Donaire's whenever I get a chance. New Brunswick, Costco had like bags of Donaire's, and that's what we survived on the trip back with. Just like we heated up 8 Donaire's, just stuffed them in a bag, and then on the way home we were just, instead of stopping for food or anything, we literally just 3 hours, stretch our legs, 3 hours, stretch our legs, 3 hours home. And all we did was stuff down Donaire's and like chicken sandwiches we made the night before.
So
what did you think? Donaire's.
What did you think?
That's heresy, isn't it, Paul?
What was it? Costco Donaire's?
Costco Donaire's.
At this point, any way I can get them is good.
Right, yeah.
There is a Donaire place in close to like the Atwater Market.
Yeah.
Which it's an Acadian restaurant / bar. And summertime they have like a walk-up window, and you can get Donaire's. And
you remember, Paul, I had spoken about one. There was one here in the West Island. Well, it didn't last very long. I think it closed after like a couple of months.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to try an actual place now that I've had the manufactured version,
the prefab version. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's I like my Donaire's.
Yeah, I was surprised because like I saw the Donaire and I was like, oh, it's just like a
hero.
Yeah. But then you taste it and like I don't know what specifically makes it a Donaire, but like the ones that we got like had like a sweeter sauce. It was like more cheese to it, different kinds of meats, including like the meat. It was pretty good.
Are Donaire's strictly Nova Scotia, or are they mostly all over the Atlantic provinces?
They're all over Canada. You can get them in BC, Alberta.
Well, except Quebec.
Yeah, well, we can get them here now. But the thing is, they're popular.
Right.
They were the history of them. They were created in early '70s Halifax.
Okay.
It was Lebanese immigrants came in and they wanted to. They were running restaurants. They tried a couple things, but they wanted something that was that reminded them of home, but that the North American palate would eat.
Right.
So it is basically a gyro.
Or shawarma, maybe. Like
no,
it's
a gyro.
No, close to I'd say close to a euro.
Gyro,
like
eh?
I mean, when I'm really bad, I know how to make the sauce.
Mm-hmm.
I can go to like Kojak's and pick
Get
up
a gyro without sauce. Yeah.
gyro without sauce, because it shouldn't have lettuce, it shouldn't have cheese. It's just supposed to be tomato, onion, the meat shaved off of
The rotisserie.
the rotisserie, and what is it called?
Yeah, the ones we got had cheese in them.
The sauce. Yeah. So New Brunswick is also sort of famous in making ones that were neater. Like Grecoville is a New Brunswick chain, and they made them, and like if it isn't dripping, it's not you're not having a real Donaire.
Okay.
Some people do get cheese with them, and there is like Donaire pizza, which would have cheese on it, but yeah, Donaire's.
Yeah, but no matter what, I want to try an actual one, because I knew that like no matter how close the prefab was to an actual Donaire, it's not gonna be that. You'll never mass produce an actual in shop made Donaire. So
Yeah.
I took it with a grain of salt. That I very much liked them. They were very good, but they were definitely bought at Costco in a bag.
Yeah, it's sort of like the you know Montreal smoked meat. It's Montreal smoked meat. It's it's not pastrami like in New York. It's not smoked meat that you get anywhere else in Canada is like a pale imitation. It's Montreal smoked meat. You come to Montreal, you get Montreal smoked meat.
Yeah, but you can get Schwartz's smoked meat at Costco.
And yes, that's true. That's true.
that
but you also
there, it'll still be better at the store if you get a Schwartz sandwich where they make this, where they do the whole process.
Yeah, they have the rye bread. They have they have the deli mustard. They have
they've got the atmosphere, which I think adds a lot to flavor.
That too.
The picnic tables. Foods. If you're not getting a splinter in your ass while you're eating a smoked meat sandwich, you're not having a smoked meat sandwich.
You're not getting the whole experience. Yeah.
It is crazy to me, like when like things like when the pandemic hits and you're just like, man, like Schwartz was not the kind of place that could stay open during a pandemic. Just like five tables with chairs, everybody sits with whoever, nobody cares. You're like, not a great vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Oh my goodness. Yeah. There's still there. I'm still hopeful right now. I'm still hopeful. I'm almost thinking it's too soon to like be fully opened up and removing as many restrictions as they have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Health officials are also saying that they're throwing out like cautionary things about we may want to open up sooner than is feasible or wise to do so, but if the governments decide they're going to open up, brace yourself. We may have a third another wave coming yet. So
you've got a massive problem when capitalism needs to chug along and you need to justify your $1 million office building.
Yes,
that's just sitting there taking up space and doing nothing. So this is my favorite part of the pandemic, where we constantly keep trying to open up so that people can go back to work, even though people are fine working from home.
Yeah, and
capitalism needs to justify its buildings. When this started, I kept telling people, people were saying, oh well, it's going to be like the 1918 pandemic. It's going to last a couple of years. What they failed to realize was that the 1918 pandemic did technically last 2 years, except there was also 2 years of lingering after effects that it stretched it out to 4 years. There were still little pockets of flu outbreaks here and there that affected different locales, and they weren't out of the woods for it took like basically everybody who was going to get it so that there would be some human herd immunity. But you don't get herd immunity inside of 2 years. It's just not possible, and especially since the population has increased. Worldwide populations increased. They're saying now that
There's still 42% of the world population that is yet to receive 2 doses of the vaccine. Some have received 1, but some have not received any.
Not to mention those places that like aren't necessarily given the most amount of doses that they need. The places that are being restricted from getting all the stuff that they need and are just like, oh, like sorry, can't pass you the doses just yet. You'll get it in a few years. So yeah, there's a lot of situations that are keeping us from getting to a full status.
And
so
doses spoiling from in places where people are refusing it. So
and also some of the vaccines need specific handling, refrigeration stuff, and it's kind of very difficult to administer vaccines in sub-Saharan Africa when you have very little access to refrigeration. In remote areas.
And there's just a lot that if we had met the pandemic in the beginning with just a few more assurances to make sure, like so many issues we're having now, we saw years ago, just like this is gonna suck down the line when we realize we should have been propping up these potential gaps in our like awareness and in our knowledge and in our testing and
because
vaccinating.
Of course, in any battle, be it a war of nations or political ideologies, in any battle, the weakest link is going to be your where it's won or lost. It's always going to come down to where is the weakness that is going to just defeat you.
As we turned onto this thread, anyone who went back and they saw that little light bulb go off over my head. We were talking about the buildings, and AJ was mentioning how all these corporate assets that aren't being used because people were telecommuting. I immediately thought of Blade Runner and all the empty buildings, right? And so everybody having these massive apartments in what appears to be like a downtown core, because there's no use for that space other than living anymore. And I don't know why it made me smile thinking, hey, we're moving closer to Blade Runner.
And yet we still they're still building condos like they're going out of style. Like Montreal
condos is one thing. But it's the office towers when we're going to have workers who are going to be able to share offices because maybe they're doing hybrid work. They only have to. They don't even need to come in for meetings.
My wife does remote work for. And she's like, if they allow me to do that, I will never go back to the office. So it was like, okay. And it's the nature of the work she's doing. There's absolutely she might have to be going to meet with people from her work maybe once or twice a year. That's it.
Which honestly, better world for everybody.
Of course.
Not that I haven't had people I've worked with that I still to this day know and appreciate. Sure, that happens. Doesn't have to though.
I mean, it's not available to every type of work. There's certain things that you'll have to have interaction with other people. There's certain, certain jobs that will require you to be present at a certain location to do a certain specific task. But some of the work, especially like clerical work, like administrative work, that can easily be done, remotely.
I actually, AJ just brought up something that I had never thought about was the social action of going into work. That's the only thing that I would think of would be a loss. What hit me though is like if you've got less people physically commuting. Who's that?
This one's Kif. She's much rarer.
Kif. Ooh.
But with,
not a big fan.
She looks reluctant to be on camera.
It's the Sean Penn of pets.
Yes.
Yeah.
There is. Oh no, she hasn't clawed the microphone yet.
Okay.
But the idea. Oh
ASMR.
yeah. But the idea of less people physically commuting
Yeah.
is actually probably better for the environment,
Of course.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
right? And the idea, yeah. I mean, people making their own work schedules as long as they can get their work done.
Yep.
There will be a few people who abuse the system, but as soon as it's really kind of discovered that they're not pulling their weight, they're going to probably lose their contracts, and so people are going to be good at working at home.
Yeah, and Jenny's been doing remote work and being on like Discord servers with her I didn't want to say employees, but there's coworkers. And you can tell, like she's mentioned a few of her coworkers to me that like do a lot of work or do almost no work. So like even the employees can tell when there's somebody who's abusing the system and like using the fact that they're on home leave to be able to not do as much work. So those people who think like, oh, I'm at home, I can like do whatever I want.
I can
it's
goof
like,
off.
Yeah, you're not as clever as you think.
Yeah.
Every like your coworkers see what you're doing pretty easily.
Right.
Yeah. And it's probably also being tracked by the bosses for your
Yes.
next.
Yeah,
And it's harder
definitely
for people to suck up when they're not face to face with the boss.
You know, I was a letter carrier for 34 years, and it's
That's hard to do remotely.
That's hard to do remotely. However, here's one of the things that we were talking about, the social aspect of work. I worked with a bunch of guys. I mean, the post office where I worked had over 60 mail routes, so there were over 60 letter carriers in that building in the mornings. Mm-hmm. But we were only together from about 7 o'clock in the morning till about 9:30 to 9:30 to maybe 9:45. So it was only a couple of hours that we had a chance for interaction. And then after that, you were out on your route and you were by yourself. So the majority of your time of your work day was spent by yourself.
Yeah, anyway.
And you didn't have a social aspect at that moment. Everything social was done like in the morning. And of course there was also work being done in the morning, but the social aspect that you had was kind of, limited to those 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
So if I had to go from that to having like no interaction with the people I was working with on any given day, it wasn't going to be a big thing for me. So I can see how some people in certain areas, certain kinds of work, the social aspect, even though it's present, it's not something that people are going to necessarily miss.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like pre-industrial revolution.
Yeah,
everyone sort of. I mean, there was jobs that needed to be done.
Yeah,
and people did those jobs because they needed to be done. Then the Industrial Revolution, in the way they could. Go ahead, AJ.
It's just her dumb face popping up in the camera. It's making me laugh.
Oh, okay. All right. But the idea of like everyone could do the job their way to the best of their abilities.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Industrial Revolution came along, and then everybody had to standardize how they did that particular job.
Yeah.
Because human beings just became another kind of cog. Like that's where we start. The idea of like everybody is different, and we if we learn to appreciate that, we'll probably have like less mental stress for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And if they can work to their different capacities, there's some people who work best without the social interaction, right? They either get it. Different people need different levels.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know. Let's fix society.
Yeah. Well, there are jobs that people can be trusted to do without supervision, and then there's other jobs where somebody has to be overlooking to make sure that everything's done right. So
there's also people that
yes, there's also people. Yes, of course. People
who
are
can
people.
be trusted, and those who can't.
Yes. Yes.
I I was just thinking about I learned about this years ago. I remember during the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, might not be specifically then, but like there was a guy whose job was to like go to people's houses and like wake them up for work and like bang on their windows. And I was just
And knock her up.
yeah, I'm just imagining like, man, that there's a job where you want nothing to do with the social environment of that job.
Yeah.
Just everybody's like, oh hey asshole. Every time they see you,
asshole.
it can be the middle of the night. You go into the bar, you're like, hey everyone looks at you. What up, asshole? You're just like, yeah, there's no way I'm escaping this. I am the town alarm clock, and everybody hates me.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit your snooze button.
Yeah. I'm glad that job doesn't exist anymore because as a species, we've gotten way worse at accepting the mornings, and I imagine that person would just be just such a poor person, just so broken inside.
Yeah. I was actually was told the most romantic thing I have ever said to anyone was, "I love you more than I hate mornings."
Yes. Very sweet.
Oh,
comes from a very special and personal place of hating the morning so goddamn much.
And somebody who understood that. All right.
Yes.
We have been doing this for close to an hour. And
it's been another fun time.
I'm smiling.
Yes.
AJ's smiling. Even Mike is smiling. And I think we had a good chat. You guys all feeling a little better?
Yeah.
All right. Say bye to Kiff, bye to Poe, bye to Mike, bye to AJ.
Yay.
There's Kiff.
Yeah.
Love you all.
Take care.
Bye.